Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Tales from the Darkness. I Don't Walk Alone Anymore, from Tony Boney Stoney. This happened about 6 months ago. I live in a sketchy area in Alabama that is a cesspool of bad people. I decided around 6:30 p.m., when it was cool and starting to get dark, but still enough light to see, that I would go for a walk. There's a little bridge surrounded by forest, about a 5-minute walk from my house, and most of the surrounding area is woods. While I was there, I had a feeling that I was being watched, but I couldn't see anyone, so I tried to shake the feeling. After a few minutes, I started to hear what sounded like howling. I thought it was coyotes because they live in the area. Boy, was I wrong. I should have turned around, but I wasn't done with my walk. I usually walk for about an hour or so. Once I hit the bridge, I heard some whispering and twigs breaking. That's when I saw a shirtless man who was skinny and tall. You could see every one of his ribs and his sternum poked out. I just looked at the ground and kept walking, and that's when he let out this primal scream that I still hear in the back of my head to this day. He started running towards me faster than I expected. I broke into a sprint as he chased me. He was slowly gaining on me. I kept looking back, and the more I looked back, the closer he got. Then I saw a car coming down the road, so I started waving my arms like a madman and screaming for them to stop. As soon as the car stopped, I looked back and saw him running off into the woods, making that same scream he did before. Had it not been for that random stranger stopping, I'm not sure what would have happened to me, and that thought follows me to this day. A Creepy Stranger, from Jacoby Gaming. This happened a long time ago, and I had forgotten all about it until a friend of mine reminded me recently as we were reading stories on Reddit. I was around 10 or 11 at the time, and we were up at the high school where I go to school now, as my house is only a few minutes away. We were all in the football field playing tag or some other game. All I remember is we were all running around. Suddenly, my sister pointed out that there was a dog running around. So we managed to chase it down and hold on to it. Almost immediately after we grabbed the dog, this shifty older man, probably mid-30s, comes up to us and says,
"Oh, I'm so happy you guys grabbed her. This is my neighbor's dog, and I was trying to return her. Could you guys please come with me?"
Although we were young, we weren't stupid enough to not see that something was wrong. Why would he be out looking for his neighbor's dog? And why did he want us to come with him? Luckily, I had an old flip phone, although it didn't work. I would sometimes carry it around and pretend to take important calls. I was young. So I fake received a call from my mom and said to the guy, "Sorry, my mom wants us to come home now." Now, I'm not trying to claim to be the hero of the story or anything like that. I was scared the entire time. The man looked at us for what felt like an eternity, and then, with a look I'll never forget, said,
"I can give you kids a ride home. I've got room in my car."
My friend told him that we only live a few minutes away, and we all started walking as fast as we could. No one dared look back at the man. Although nothing bad happened to us, besides a good scare, I still wonder to this day what would have happened to us if we had gone with this man. I almost died because of a crazy teenager. From Sierra Rosemary. Once I was hanging around my town with my friend. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah and I were hanging around and noticed this creepy man slowly coming towards us. Mind you, it's pitch black outside. So we began walking towards her house. The man started walking with a quicker pace, and so did we. We took 4 left turns to see if he was really following us, and he was. So then we really got worried. I read somewhere that if you think someone might attack you, You look them in the eye and say, "What do you want from me?" or ask them a question. Then you can see their face and are able to identify them in a lineup. So I turned around and stood as tall as I could. I was 5'10", and he was probably around 6'2". So I stood there and said, "Can we help you?" And he just panicked and ran the other direction so fast it was crazy. We went home and had a sleepover. The next day, we decided to go out again, only this time it was light out. Then we saw the same man again. I was mad. We went to 3 different stores and ended up bumping into him in all 3. So we decided to take the same route home again and find out what he wanted. This time we were smart enough to bring pocket knives with us just in case. So we begin walking and it's getting darker outside. He starts approaching us at a quick pace and finally grabbed Sarah's shoulder. She pulled her knife out and so did I. The man backed away slowly and said that he wasn't going to hurt us. Of course, we didn't believe him, so we kept our knives out. He explained that his friend, who was roughly the same height as him, was going to hurt 2 girls from his school. He came to warn us that he thought it might be us. We started walking towards a busy park, keeping our distance with our knives out, and let him explain. He told us that his friend had a journal that he accidentally left at his house, and the description of the 2 girls matched us perfectly, and because we walked on the same route as the journal described, he assumed it was us. He just wanted to let us know and told us to be careful, and maybe we should call the cops. So we did. We called the police, and his friend was arrested because the journal was found and it was proven that it was his friend's handwriting in the journal. CCTV cameras also proved that the night before it was his friend following us, and it showed horrifying footage of him writing in the journal, noticing us, then begin walking in the same direction as us. The police told us that his friend might have changed his mind, and that's why he got spooked when we turned around and confronted him the first night. So in conclusion, the guy had planned some very horrifying stuff and was actually going to do it. If it wasn't for his friend, we could have died that night. Am I totally screwed? From Anonymous. Okay, so my mom is into conspiracy theories, like I am. She thought that the deep web was a place to search for conspiracies, and you'd get the truth. So she decides to find a way into it. Basically, she downloaded this app, which I think is horse crap, but whatever. She gets on a website, and finds links to these sites I've never heard of. She said she didn't see anything disturbing, but it was too hard to navigate, so she just gave up. This was a week or 2 ago. Last night, someone was outside our house wearing all black, just kind of standing there at 11:30 when my brother was driving his girlfriend home. So he comes back a bit later and tells my mom about it. So he and my mom take flashlights outside to look for this guy. They don't find anything. After about 5 minutes pass, a van pulls up driving on the wrong side of the road. It stops at my neighbor's house. My brother hears the van door slide open and then slide shut. My mom and brother decide to follow it, so they jump in the car and follow it into the town square. I live in the middle of nowhere, and the town square is a good 15-20 minutes away. On the way there, a car is riding their ass, like so close they think they're going to get hit. Eventually, the van they're following pulls into a tire place, and my mom decides not to follow them in there at midnight. She circles around, which only takes about 2 minutes, passes by again, and the van is gone. I was asleep during all of this because I had to work the next morning, but I woke up around 2 a.m. and I'm terrified. I feel like someone is watching me, and I'm the kind of person that sleeps, eats, and breathes horror. I'm not usually scared at night like this. Not only that, but I sleep like a rock. But for some reason, I just couldn't go back to sleep. I was too scared, and I felt like I wasn't alone. Now, all I can think is that it might have been that guy lurking around outside my house. My bedroom has 6 windows in it. It's not like it would be that hard for him to watch me. and I'm afraid it has something to do with the dumb crap my mom is fumbling around with on the internet. Any opinions? I Was Friends with a Murderer by KRose315. It was always hard for me to make friends, and in high school, I just hung out with whoever adopted me. My friends in high school were your typical druggies and dropouts, the complete opposite of me. Out of everyone in the group, my best friend was, let's call him Peter. I'll keep his real name out for privacy. Peter wasn't like the rest of the group, who did drugs and who got into fights. He was an honor roll student, and was a well-known, respectful, and overall nice guy. You wouldn't think he would do anything bad. He wouldn't even go over the speed limit, he was that good. But about 3 years ago, in November, Peter wasn't at school, which was extremely odd. He never missed school unless it was an emergency. During the day, I noticed that Peter's longtime girlfriend was also missing. Now I was thinking that maybe they took a day for themselves to be together for some reason, so I shook off all my suspicions. It was the next day, a Saturday morning, and I was woken up by my mom saying in a panicky voice, "Is this your friend?" I groggily sat up to see what she's talking about. She's holding a newspaper, and on the front page is a picture of Peter. Above his picture reads the caption, "Local man arrested for first-degree murder and arson." Shocked, I grabbed the paper from her and read the details of the story. Apparently, the day before, when Peter and his girlfriend were missing, was when he murdered her. The night before that, she had broken up with him, and after having such a long relationship, I guess Peter just snapped. So the next day, when his now ex-girlfriend was at her house, he came over with a pistol and a set of materials to set her house on fire. He broke into her house. The police report says there were signs of a struggle and a fight. Peter cornered his ex into her bathroom and shot her in the head, before setting the inside and outside of the house ablaze. When the police arrived, he tried to shoot himself in the head, but he was apprehended before he could pull the trigger. The school was shocked at this news. Peter seemed like such a nice guy. I was especially shocked. This guy was my best friend. I thought I knew him inside and out. But everyone can hold the darkness inside of them. Months later, he received his sentence. Peter was 18 when he committed the crime, and he will be in jail for 30 years. I kind of feel bad for him. He did this out of a blind rage, and now it's costing him almost half of his life. You never know who you're friends with. They could have something dark inside of them, and all it takes is a little push to throw them off the edge.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. If you have suggestions for future videos, leave them in the comments down below. If you would like to submit a story, you can do so to storiesofdarkness55@gmail.com. Pleasant dreams.